Welcome back, guys. Zona Man R1. We're back to another episode. Let's go. We're pushing this.
Hatırlayın.
Let's go.
Charlie Hebdo olayında 25 kişi öldürülmüştü. Dünya liderleri Paris'te hep birlikte yürüyüş yaptılar.
I remember that.
Şu an 11 bin çocuk, kadın öldürüldü. Dünya sessiz. Başta Amerika,
Yes, they do.
Batı hep birlikte sessizler. Çocuk ve kadın. Bunları her gün televizyonlarda izliyoruz. Burada özellikle Ekonomik İşbirliği Teşkilatı olarak hep birlikte Müslümanlar olarak sesimizi bugün çıkartmayacaksak, yükseltmeyeceksek sesimizi ne zaman yükselteceğiz?
By the way, he spit message because do you remember that?
Yeah.
When I think the guy killed 25 people, I think it was in France, and all the world leaders came together and they done solidarity walks. They were all like this, walking together to get. That's 25 people. R.I.P. to them, which was horrific. I'm not gonna lie, but if that's horrific and they came together for that, can you imagine? But they're not, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, when they all flew out to France or something.
Yeah, they're all
walking
walking together. Yeah.
I remember that.
So that's basically what Erdogan's talking about, saying, look, but now 11,000 people have been killed, and all of a sudden the West don't care. But the West don't care. Let's keep going.
So I think this is something that has to happen in
Somaliland,
order for us to be able to get to peace and security. And I think Rachel's
Palestinian
been a bit
protesters as
unfair to
extremists.
what's happening in Israel at the moment. I've been 4 times in the last year, and the vast population of the state of Israel are peace-loving people that actually want to be able.
That's just not true.
It is.
And I say that as someone who knows Israel very well.
Okay, well,
It's moved further
Rachel,
and further to the right.
hang on.
It hasn't, though, but that's why there's been protests for the last,
Those
few
are not
months.
peace protests, they're anti-Netanyahu protests. There's a big difference.
Yeah, who are against the extremists that are getting into the government.
Okay.
So I think we're being completely unfair anyway.
Sell out. 100% sell
Had
out.
to be a Mali, bro. What?
Yeah, other words, but
the
speak to
hell?
them.
You not from Israel. What are you talking about? And it's not even, you know what it is? It's not even about being like, bro, forget the politics. People are dying.
Yeah.
Ceasefire, at least something, you know what I mean? Like, they're saying how many people have been displaced. Then where do they go even as well? Oh, man. So, she's tapped. Do better. What was her, Nimco or something like that her name is?
They probably change their name.
Joke thing.
I was brought up as an Orthodox Jew and a Zionist. On a shelf in our kitchen was a tin box of the Jewish National Fund, into which we put coins to help the pioneers building a Jewish presence in Palestine. I first went to Israel in 1961, and I've been there since more times than I can count. I had family in Israel, and I have friends in Israel. One of them fought in the wars of 1956, 1967 and 1973, and was wounded in 2 of them. The tie clip which I'm wearing is made from a campaign decoration awarded to him, which he presented to me. I've known most of the prime ministers of Israel, starting with the founding prime minister, David Ben-Gurion. Golda Meir was my friend. So was Yigal Allon, the deputy prime minister, who as a general won the Negev for Israel in the 1948 War of Independence. My parents came to Britain as refugees from Poland. Most of their families were subsequently murdered by the Nazis in the Holocaust. My grandmother was ill in bed when the Nazis came to her hometown of Stashov. A German soldier shot her dead in her bed. Madam Deputy Speaker, my grandmother did not die to provide cover for Israeli soldiers murdering Palestinian grandmothers in Gaza.
100%.
The present Israeli government ruthlessly and cynically exploit the continuing guilt among Gentiles over the slaughter of Jews in the Holocaust, as justification for their murder of Palestinians. The implication is that Jewish lives are precious, but the lives of Palestinians do not count. On Sky News a few days ago, the spokeswoman for the Israeli army, Major Leibovich, was asked about the Israeli killing of, at that time, 800 Palestinians. The total is now 1,000. She replied instantly, 500 of them were militants. That was the reply of a Nazi. I suppose that Jews fighting for their lives in the Warsaw Ghetto could have been dismissed as militants. The Israeli Foreign Minister, Tzipi Livni, asserts that her government will have no dealings with Hamas because they're terrorists. Tzipi Livni's father was Eitan Livni, Chief Operations Officer of the terrorist Irgun Tzvai Leumi, who organised the blowing up of the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, in which 91 victims were killed, including 4 Jews. Israel was born out of Jewish terrorism. Jewish terrorists hanged 2 British sergeants and booby-trapped their corpses. Irgun, together with the terrorist Stern Gang, massacred 254 Palestinians in 1948 in the village of Deir Yassin. Today, the present Israeli government indicate that they will be willing, in circumstances acceptable to them, to negotiate with the Palestinian President Abbas of Fatah. It's too late for that, Madam Deputy Speaker. They could have negotiated with Fatah's previous leader, Yasser Arafat, who was a friend of mine. Instead, they besieged him in a bunker in Ramallah, where I visited him. It's because of the failings of Fatah since Arafat's death that Hamas won the election, the Palestinian election in 2006. Hamas is a deeply nasty organisation, but it was democratically elected, and it is the only game in town. The boycotting of Hamas, including by our own government, has been a culpable error from which dreadful consequences have followed. The great Israeli Foreign Minister Abba Eban, with whom I campaigned for peace on many platforms, said, "You make peace by talking to your enemies." However many Palestinians the Israelis murder in Gaza, they cannot solve this existential problem by military means. Whenever and however the fighting ends, there will still be 1.5 million Palestinians in Gaza and 2.5 million more Palestinians in the West Bank who are treated like dirt by the Israelis, with hundreds of roadblocks and with the ghastly denizens of the illegal Jewish settlements harassing them as well. The time will come, not so long from now, when they will outnumber the Jewish population in Israel. It's time for our government to make clear to the Israeli government that its conduct and policies are unacceptable and to impose a total arms ban on Israel. It is time for peace, but real peace, not the solution by conquest, which is the Israelis' real goal, but which is impossible for them to achieve. They're not simply war criminals, they're fools.
Fools!
He went in, bro.
Fools!
Yeah, 100%. You know, let me tell you something. Everybody knows the truth. The world knows the truth. It's just no one wants to say anything, and everyone's scared. Scared for their money, for their work, for their jobs. So nothing will change while people are scared. When no one's scared anymore, then you can actually put pressure on them to stop what they're doing, stop taking people's houses, stop killing Palestinians. Then you can actually make a difference. Until then, ain't gonna be no difference. Let's keep going. It's crazy. Message.
We've just officially been given permission to take the Home Secretary to court. Suella Braverman recently changed the law to give police almost unlimited powers to shut down protests. But these new protest restrictions had already been rejected by Parliament when the government tried to put them in the Public Order Act. This is a democratic crisis. Our parliamentary democracy exists to make sure a government can't just do whatever it wants.
Yes.
The Home Secretary has unlawfully changed the law by the back door, so we're taking her to court.
Good.
We need to stop the government putting itself above the law. We need to defend democracy.
Take her to court. Dodgy.
Evil.
About stop
Ukraine.
protesting.
Not in the face of an intensifying strategic competition in the Indo-Pacific and around the world.
If the witness will suspend,
Get down hard.
Not one senator is calling for a ceasefire. Shame on you all.
Shame on them,
The world is
100%.
calling for a ceasefire. The American people don't want to support this brutal war. Stop the war. Stop the ceasefire now. Stop funding this brutal massacre that Israel is doing on the people of Gaza. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Ceasefire
Yeah, I tell you, a lot of the people in the world just want a
Stop supporting
ceasefire.
the brutal massacre of Gaza. The Israeli government is committing genocide
100%.
against the people of Gaza. The American people do not want to support this brutal, brutal massacre. We demand that the U.S. government stop giving money to Israel. No more money for Israel. Stop supporting genocide. No more money for Israel. Stop supporting genocide.
The Geneva Convention forbids the bombing of densely populated areas. Stop supporting the genocide and ethnic cleansing.
And they know it. See all these leaders? They know it as well. This is crazy.
Ceasefire now! Save the
Ceasefire.
children of Gaza! Save the children of Gaza! Ceasefire now! Where is your pride, America?
recognize that people feel very passionately, and I ask
Development must work hand in hand.
Yeah, one by one.
rapping.
We're doing it, yeah.
Committee will suspend, and again, I appreciate that people feel passionately about these issues. I would ask that you respect our witnesses and our committee members and allow the American people to hear
at
their
this face, he don't even
testimony.
look back.
We will pause until the room is clear.
300 people in Gaza.
She's repping.
3,500 kids dead.
My kids.
Come on, I'm an Army colonel. I'm a former diplomat. I resigned on that war in Iraq that you talked about. That was a terrible thing, and what we're doing right now in supporting Israel's genocide of Gaza is a terrible thing too. Stop! Stop the war! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Stop aid to Israel! Peace! Peace is what we need, not more wars! Ceasefire now! Don't give more money to merchants of war! They love this war! Trillions of dollars for war! Come on, let's do a little peace work!
I know that several
Yeah, good. Don't give them time. Good. One by one by one, they're getting up.
Represent, represent.
Look at his eyes. He looks
Respect the
evil,
people
bro.
in the room and allow us to continue the hearing. The hearing will suspend until the disruption is removed.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Demilitarize the border! People are not animals!
both stressed the need for Israel to operate by the rule of
Why are we handcuffing and arresting them? These are
Committee will suspend.
Let them be at the table! Why aren't they at the table? Ceasefire now! I beg you! Ceasefire now!
Committee will suspend.
One by one. Yeah, get up on them, man. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Palestinian struggle is not just a cry for justice. It's a blistering battle for the most fundamental human rights that every living soul on this planet should inherit by birthright. It's an unyielding resistance against the oppressive, suffocating grip of occupation and the callous denial of the most basic human dignity. Just as the civil rights movement in the United States fought against the chains of racial discrimination, so too do the Palestinian people strive to shatter the chains of occupation and tyranny. Never forget, my friends, that the Palestinians, much like African Americans in the United States, have been subjected to a heart-wrenching history of suffering and torment. The birth of Israel in 1948 brought forth the mass expulsion and dispossession of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their ancestral homes and land. This is a historic injustice that continues to haunt the lives of Palestinians to this very day. The situation in Palestine serves as a brutal reminder of the consequences of colonialism and the ruthless dispossession of indigenous peoples. It is an agonizing reminder that the fight for justice knows no borders, and we must stand united in solidarity with all oppressed peoples, whether they reside in the United States, South Africa, or anywhere around the world. Let's be unequivocally clear. Advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people is not synonymous with denying the rights and security of the Jewish people. The fight for justice in Palestine is not an assault on any particular group, but an unwavering stand against the policies of a Zionist state that has for far too long stripped Palestinians of their rights. We must remember that numerous Jewish voices also resound in the calls for justice and peace in Palestine, and their voices must not be silenced. In our relentless pursuit of justice for the Palestinian people, we must also acknowledge that it is in the best interest of the entire world to seek a just and enduring solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It is a pursuit in the name of peace, stability, and the dignity of all mankind. But let me underscore this. The battle for justice in Palestine is not merely a political struggle, it's an elemental moral battle. It's the fight for the most basic human rights of a people who have suffered these injustices for far too long. It's the fight for the right to exist in peace and security, free from the ceaseless specter of violence and dispossession. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. I implore every person of conscience, regardless of their origins or beliefs, to stand steadfast with the Palestinian people in their unwavering quest for justice by any means necessary. Let us unite in building a world where every soul can live in freedom and dignity, where the rights of every individual are not just respected, but celebrated. The struggle for justice in Palestine is a universal fight, a resonating echo of the battles waged by oppressed people across the globe. It's a battle we must champion, a torch we must carry, and a legacy we must honor. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Yeah, free Palestine. ASAP. Free Palestine, 100%.
If you want to anesthetize yourself to what's going on and not look at the images of dead babies and children, which are your children and my children, just watch the BBC. Keep watching the BBC if you want to anesthetize yourself. That's what that BBC is there for. Shame on you, BBC! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
Because they don't show the Ukraine one like that, I'll tell you that.
100.
The BBC has turned into a weapon of mass deception. They spread Israeli propaganda. They allow Israeli spokespeople to go unchallenged. They are providing a platform for genocide advocates and genocide performers. BBC, stop the lies! BBC, stop the lies!
beautiful people and their children are being slaughtered, beheaded by bombs, made in Scotland, made in places like this. This is a big stain on Glasgow.
Fight for Palestine, campaign for Palestine, occupy for Palestine, civil disobedience for Palestine, everything for Palestine. Thank you for coming.
100%.
Them Scottish
Oh, man.
them Scottish people representing.
Yeah. Oh, they've been representing. And you know what the crazy part is? BBC, all these news channels, shame on them, you know that. Because one day they're gonna all look back at this and think, man, he messed up. You know what I mean? And if they don't, in the hereafter they will.
Maybe in the hereafter, probably they can't sleep well. They know they're lying to
100%
people.
they can't sleep. 100%
Lying
they
to
can't
people.
sleep. Imagine just lying and just, bro. Like, why do they hate Palestine so much though?
No,
Why
it's
do
their
they-
job. They've been told to
No,
do.
but
They
why
push.
do they-
This
no.
is their agenda. This
Yeah,
is what
but-
pushing. It's their job. Unless they quit. A few of them quit.
They have to quit, man. What type of money is that? People are dying, children are dying, and you'd rather your little change that you get every month, bro. There's thousands of jobs. Go and get another job. I don't know, man, but the future will see. The future will tell of like how. By the way, you know, social media. This is what social media does. You know how they're biased and they got propaganda. You know, now finally that, you know, with alternative media and stuff like that, people can see their propaganda. People can see how hypocritical they are. People can see how they documented when Russia and the Ukraine thing happened and everybody was with Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
Because Russia was doing something bad. Cool. Now it's the opposite. All of a sudden, I don't see nothing. Hear no evil, see no evil. You know, like, what? Man, they just need to do better. Get me?
We don't know what's going on.
It's just
with that Russia and Ukraine, though. This is deeper than that, though.
come
It's hard to do
on,
with.
it's way deeper than that. It's more than we know. We're gonna have to do our research, and everyone do your own research and stuff. But innocents are dying. Free Gaza for life. Free Palestine, bitch.
That woman who was representing, though, they're pushing out. She tried.
Of course, you see other people.
Voice,
and then
you
you
know?
see the Somaliland girl, the Mali thing. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing, man? You see, even the woman next to her and said, "Hey, I actually went to, you know, Israel. That's not true what you're saying. Like, just talk. Have you been there?
She's probably not allowed there.
So, of course, she's black. You can't go there. You can't go there. I don't know, man. Tap, though, but that's the end of the video, guys.
Yep.
Free Gaza for life. Free the free people. Stop the, what do you call it, ceasefire now. Stop the war. You know, stop the killing of children, everything. Stop the killing of innocents altogether. And we'll see you on the next video, man.
Till next time.
Free Gaza.